welcome, Jessica. We're glad to talk to you today. Could we start off with, if you could introduce yourself and where you work and a description of what your role is at the school?
Yes, my name is Jessica Stoerger. I work at Pearl City High School in Pearl City, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. I teach natural resources for our CTE program, and I'm also the biology teacher for our Tech and Design Academy.
Our first question is, what about the greening STEM model convinced you to give it a try? So what was compelling about it when you were first taking on the demonstration project?
Teaching is a second career for me. With the greening STEM model, I am able to bring my previous career, which is natural resources and environmental science, and kind of mesh it with my classroom activities. It was really nice. I was able to get my students outside, have them do some hands-on work and really mesh the two together. So as a new teacher, it was really easy to bring everything together.
Yeah, that sounds really wonderful and valuable impact for the students right away as you were beginning. Our next question is, how has your approach to teaching about the environment changed as a result of using the greening STEM framework and as a result of having gone through the year of the demonstration project and now into another year?
I didn't have a whole lot of teaching experience before COVID. And so when COVID came, it kind of locked me down away from my students. We did a lot of distance learning. Now that we're back in class, I'm able to get my students outside. I have to help them refocus, re-engage, and getting them outside after a year and a half inside distance learning has really, really helped.
And which aspect of the greening STEM model was the most challenging to include? And how did you overcome that challenge?
Our biggest challenge here was the field trips. Because of COVID, the districts had really, really strict rules about no field trips and students meeting face-to-face. I was actually able to overcome that challenge by working with my administrators. I have great administrators that back me up on a lot of things, and we were able to get my students out on 2 field trips. They were non-class days, and it was an optional. So the parents could choose if they wanted their students to go or not. It wasn't grade impacting. And my students were able to get out there. We hiked 3.5 miles each day, up a hill, up a mountain into our watershed. They were able to collect data and do some plant identification, and really nice after being inside, getting outside and able to do stuff.
Yeah, that's so fantastic to hear that you were able to overcome that challenge and that those students had that chance to get out into nature. You mentioned your administrative team as being really supportive, but in addition to them and aside from yourself, were there others who were instrumental in deciding to use the greening STEM approach and to take on the project?
There was Sandy Ward. She is a retired teacher and now executive director with Malama Pu'aloa, which is restoring Pearl Harbor. She had just met me a few times, and she pretty much pushed me to try the greening STEM. She saw how I could connect my previous experience with teaching, and she was really instrumental in bringing the two together. And kind of, as a long-term science teacher herself, she was able to kind of kick me over the edge into trying it.
That sounds like a really wonderful partnership. What advice would you give to educators looking to integrate environmental education using the greening STEM model in their learning contexts?
Give it a try. I found my students were more engaged, and they actually look forward to coming to my class and get outside of the classroom. My students retained the material that they learned a lot better, and they were still talking about the hiking and the other activities we did last year, this year. And so I look forward to integrating more of the greening STEM approach to more of my lessons and activities.
Well, we love to hear that, and especially that the students had that enthusiasm and excitement to get outdoors.